The changes Games Workshop have announced today is either going to make or break the future of our beloved Warhammer 40k world. Hello everyone, and Bloodclaw here. I got quite excited when I seen the information that Games Workshop has released today. I think it looks very promising, and we have quite a few wee things I want to talk about here. Total War, Warhammer information has been quite dry recently, so I thought I'd try and branch out and we'd make an information video on the information Games Workshop released today on 40k. Now, what did they announce today? The biggest thing and the easiest thing to find today they released was a video announcing there's going to be a new edition of Warhammer 40k this year. But you have to delve a wee bit deeper and go into their FAQ and the forums, etc, etc, to find the rest of the information. So what is the rest of the information? Well, they start off by telling us that this is more than just a new edition of Warhammer 40k. This is a total revamp of the way they're doing everything. At the end of the FAQ, they go on to tell us about how they're changing the way they run the company. For all us oldies out there, well, they've been in the hobby for a long time. Like back in my day, a codex used to cost £7. You seen the price on these days? Yeah, like all us old guys. We've known the company for a long time, and we know it's always been about the profits first, shareholders first, that sort of thing. They're a very old-fashioned company, which no one has, well, a lot of people blame them for, but it's the way businesses used to be, because no one knew any better. Businesses, on the sort of scale we see nowadays, with information as publicly available as we see nowadays, is something new. And it's only been, well, I estimate the past 20 years that companies have started being more consumer-friendly, consumer-focused, instead of shareholder-focused. And Games Workshop are definitely, bless them, being one of the last companies to realise this. And that is why a lot of people hate them so much, but they are talking about how the consumer is now going to be their top priority. They're listening to their fans, they're implementing their suggestions, and that is what they're doing with the new 40k. Apparently they've taken all of our feedback from the past few years, they've taken their experience of how everyone hated Age of Sigmar, so they listened to their community and were like, right, we're going to implement these changes, and you know what? They were right, people are starting to actually like it. So they're going to do the same sort of thing that turned Age of Sigmar being one of the worst games ever into Age of Sigmar being okay. Which I'm not going to say better than okay, because I've still got one hell of a grudge against it for killing my beloved fantasy. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the basic rules are actually going to be free, with the option to buy a full huge rulebook still there. The rules are going to be extremely streamlined and apparently very easy to pick up, because the current game, let's face it, Warhammer 40k at the moment is hard to learn, easy to master, especially if you're just going to spam cheese or do something cheesy. Yeah. Apparently the new game is going to be easy to learn but harder to master, which is very promising and very good as well. So yes, new users are going to find the game very easy to pick up in a matter of seconds. There's going to be free ways to play, which we've already seen in Age of Sigmar. It is the exact same. You've got your just jump in, have fun gameplay, or you've got your narrative or story driven gameplay, or you've got your matched play gameplay, which is sort of like what we've got at the moment. We've only really got matched gameplay, where points and all that matter, it's competitive, that sort of thing. And there's going to be rules for all three types of games, which is quite good, because before they only really acknowledged the sort of competitive side of the game. There wasn't really rules for people like me that used to just like to muck about, have some fun, do a narrative campaign, that sort of thing, instead of going and going like, I must win. Like, just, this guy's got to take it them, you know what I mean? It can get a very competitive game, and people like to spam their cheese, and then you get all sorts of tempers fraying and all that sort of thing. You know what I mean? The competitive scene. But that's not sort of my cup of tea. So I'm really excited for that sort of change. If you are wanting to buy any of the codexes that are out at the moment, I would snap them up ASAP. They're going to be taken off the shelves soon. Apparently the rules have changed that much that the codexes are all going to be completely thrown out the window. Games Workshop recommends you only buy them from now on if you just want them for the fluff and narrative that is already in there. But the rules for the new version of 40k are not going to be compatible. They've revamped that much. You're going to get new books out for every race apparently on release day. And apparently they're going to be cheaper, which is very nice to hear. Especially when you're considering people like me have several armies sitting through in the other room, and I'm kind of thinking, I don't want to just have to buy 5 new codexes day one. That's... What is a codex these days? It's like, what? Depends if it's hardback, but I estimate, I've not looked in a while, about 30 quid a pop. So if I had to buy 5, there's 150 quid just on the codexes before I've bought the starter set or the new rulebook if I want it, because remember the basic rules are free, and so on and so on. But apparently they are going to be cheaper, which is very nice to hear. So yes, they also said that even though the rules have been revamped absolutely tons, it's still going to be, at a glance, easily the same game. You're going to, all your old days and all that, you're going to be able to look at it and go, huh, I'm playing the same game, it's just being streamlined. It just is faster to play, it won't take as long to get as large battles done, and you're going to be able to play it the way you want. That's another thing I'm quite excited about, because old-fashioned Games Workshop, like the newest model out, would always be the most powerful, because remember, they're shareholder focused, profit margin focused, so they just spent all this money making this new model. They want to get as much returns as possible, so what do? They make it stronger than what came before. So everyone goes, right, we want to be cheesy, we must grab this new unit, it's going to be powerful, it's going to be great, and then all your older units start feeling mediocre and not as good, and so on and so on. Whereas now you can play any way you want, so the power, I can't remember the exact terminology it's normally called, the power increase of newer models and the older power settings being thrown out the window is no longer a thing. If you don't want to play with lots of super heavies being OP and everywhere, and you want to go back to the good old days where a Space Marine squad was pretty hard to kill, because things with AP3 and higher were pretty rare. There wasn't giant mini titans walking around that fire 2 large blasts at AP3 wiping whole squads of Space Marines off the field in one turn. They didn't exist. If you want to go back to play like those days, you can do so. Yes. So, what have we talked about? We talked about the new, cheaper codexes. Oh, we hinted at the starter set. I'm trying to rush through this ASAP, just because there's quite a lot to talk about, and my dinner is cooking. I don't have a lot of time tonight. Yes, I've got the FAQ up on my other monitor. I'm just glancing. They did also mention the starter set. They've not mentioned what models are going to be in the starter set. They're just teasing us by talking about it, saying, well, you're going to have to wait and see. We don't want to spoil the surprise, but they are going to be fan-dabby-dozy. Absolutely fabulous. Apparently they are breathtaking models, and they're going to be beautiful, and it's going to be kickstarting a bright new era for Games Workshop, where the consumer is going to be made to feel wanted. He's going to be made to feel nice, whereas the old Games Workshop, it was sort of like, once they got you into the hobby, bye bye. You're like, we don't care about you anymore, you're addicted to our plastic crack, you're just gonna keep buying it, we don't care about you. This is new unit, it's more powerful than one you bought last week, so you're gonna have to buy it too. Thanks for your money. Yes. So the new models are going to be fantastic, great, yep. New starter set is going to be awesome. Rulebook is going to be, well, basic rules are free. I'm sure I had one more thing to talk about. I'm rambling on here because I'm actually quite excited myself. This all sounds very, very promising, especially the bright new leaf Games Workshop apparently are going to be taking. Fingers crossed. There was one more thing to talk about. What was it? Narrative progression. With a lot of the stuff released recently, Gilliman coming back, ciphers roaming around the place up to stuff, there's been a lot of storyline progression in Warhammer, and apparently that's here to stay. The setting is no longer going to be stagnant. Yes, you could argue the Tau weren't really stagnant, but that's more because they were introduced later than most of the other races, so they were sort of like, right, here's what they were doing 1,000 years ago when they were first released, then it was here's what they're doing 500 years ago, a couple of editions later, then the third like expansion, here's what they're doing now, they're just starting another expansion. And so even though technically you could say there was storyline progression with the Tau, it was more storyline history progression up to the current date. But now there's going to be full-fledged, full storyline progression, and they're taking all the positive moves they've made in Age of Sigmar and they're going to be applying it to Warhammer 40k. And so that does sound like it is going to be good news bearers for us all. I would expect to see full new army books coming out for new armies, new this, new that. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be quite exciting. I can't wait to see what direction this goes in. And as I said at the beginning of the video, this is either going to make or break Warhammer 40k. It is either going to completely ruin it and go down the pothole if Games Workshop fail, but if they do it right, it is going to be breathtaking. It is going to be outstanding. It is going to be literally the best thing to have ever happened, because not too long ago I would have agreed with Games Workshop when they said they have a luxury sort of product that no one else can sort of match, which they have had for a long time. The quality of other model makers and rule miniature game creators, they just didn't have the same professional sort of perfection sort of feel, if you know what I'm trying to say. They just weren't on the same level as Games Workshop. But the past couple of years, with companies like Hawk War Games making Drop Zone Commander, Drop Fleet Commander, and other companies making outstanding miniature games as well, Games Workshop, in my opinion, completely lost the edge and the authority on doing so. But with the progress they've made in Age of Sigmar recently, I am starting to think they might have just took the game to a whole new level. And if they manage to do the same with 40k, I might just solidify that inkling feeling I've got that they've taken it to the whole new level. Like the other companies that have appeared have upped their game to be on par with Games Workshop. Games Workshop seem to be upping their game and taking it to a whole new level, especially with all this very sort of forward-thinking, for Games Workshop, very forward-thinking sort of practices. There's going to be yearly updates to the rules with community suggestions and improvements. It sounds awesome. Right, I've rambled on more than long enough. I hope you have all enjoyed this. I might keep making more of these videos if there's lots of juicy information like today. Eventually I want to branch out and have a full tabletop themed channel as well as my main gaming one. So if you really like this video, please give it a thumbs up, etc. Tell me you like this sort of content and I'll gladly do more. So yes, the ball is in your court. If you guys want more of this content, there will definitely be more, but it needs to see the sort of support to get more of this sort of content. Yeah. I probably should have structured this better, but I really don't have time tonight. I'm just home from work and I'm at work all day tomorrow. So for future content, I'm probably going to structure things a bit better, but this part has just been me sort of opening my mouth, letting my belly rumble, FAQ on the other side. I'm really excited, and I just wanted to talk and share my thoughts about it with yous, and the information with yous. See yous all next time. Bye-bye.